And men, they don't sit around obsessing about being perfect. You know, Ellen Pompeo said it best in that interview. Men don't worry about being perfect, so why should we?
To the Sisterhood Tea Party Podcast, where we talk about all things healing, growth, and being a woman who's just trying to live her damn life. I'm Jessica.
And I'm Stephanie. And today's episode is one so many of us needed to hear. We're talking about personal growth on your own terms and letting go of the toxic pressure to be perfect.
Especially as women in our 30s, why does it feel like we're supposed to have everything figured out by now?
Spoiler alert, none of us do. And today we're going to unpack that. No fluff, just the real talk.
All right, before we dive in, let's do our top of mind segment. Stephanie, what's been living rent-free in your head this week?
Oh, jeez. Well, last night I went to speed dating again.
How was that?
It was okay. Like, I've talked about this before. The men are just not menning out there. And, you know, after we were done with like our actual speed dating round, my friend and I went to the bathroom and there's just like a full-blown vent session of all the women who were participating. We were just like, what was that? What are these men? And I'm like, here's the deal about this. Like, the men that were there, and I'm not trying to talk shit, because by the way, there are two guys that found out about this podcast, and I'm like, don't ruin this, first of all. Yes. So, because I talked about it, I was like, you know, I have a podcast. They're like, oh, that's so cool. What is it? Da-da-da. And I'm like, okay, follow it if you want, but like, don't be weird.
Yeah. You're like, you might not be the target audience, but sure, give us a view.
I let them know, I was like, you are not the target audience, but like, if you want to support us for a follow, you know, give us engagement, cool. Just like, don't be weird in the comments, okay? Don't ruin things for us in here because I'll find you again. But like, we talked about like, what was that? And like, a lot of us were like, yeah, like the conversations, yes, they were nice, but a lot of them, once again, I had to carry the conversation on my back. Like, what is going on over here? I'm interesting. Like, I know how to carry a conversation. Why can't they? Because why am I asking you all the questions? Like, if you want to be a princess, just say that. But like, it's not for me. It was so frustrating. But like, at the same time, it's always fun to get out there and like interact with people and like talk. It's way better than the dating apps. I will say that. So, and these are guys that I would normally not even, I mean, if I'm being honest, like I wouldn't normally give them a chance just because, you know, you're seeing them on an app, you're like, meh, like I'm just going to swipe left or whatever. But I mean, some of them were like really nice. And some of them I was like, I could probably do without like not talking to you again. And I like low-key had a stalker at this last one as well. Yes.
What
he
happened?
Found me again. Well, he was in my row and he like popped up. I was like, oh God. And like my friend was like, isn't that the guy that like cornered you last time? And I said, yes. What am I going to do? And so I had to pretend I didn't know him. I was like, oh, like this is weird. He was asking me questions being like, you married? And I was like, why would you ask me if I'm married? I'm not speed dating. The fuck? Like, what do you mean, am I married?
Is he married, first of all? And second of all, does he not know, like, he knows you, but he was just going along with you not knowing him?
Right. He thought I was like, I'm not engaging with you like I know you, sir. Because, like, I didn't enjoy our conversation last time. Because, again, I had to carry the conversation on my back. So he's asking me these weird questions. He's like, do you have kids? Like, da-da-da. Like, do you want kids? I'm like, I mean, whatever, I guess. And so after it ends, my friend was like, we gotta go. Like, he's like coming this way. And I was like, friend, we gotta go to the bathroom. So we go to the bathroom and we hide out. There are multiple times that he was trying to follow us around. And I was like, I cannot be in this vicinity. Like, I do not want to talk to this man at all. So it was very interesting. Overall, yeah, I did not submit my form for matches because I really did not I didn't really engage with anybody that was like, yeah, I'd want to like hang out again. Again, they were nice. Nothing wrong with them. It was just like, they're not my cup of tea and it is what it is. So, yeah. So that was speed dating.
Wow. What a journey. It sounds like maybe you at least met some cool girls there, which is always fun.
You know, and that's usually the benefit. I told them about the podcast too. And that was honestly a win. So, hey girls.
Shout out to them.
Shout out. Yes. Okay. What about you?
Okay. So mine is low-key also about men, but in a different way. Cannot stop thinking about the TV show Adolescence. Have you heard of this show?
I have not.
Okay, so this is a 4-part miniseries on Netflix. And first of all, every single episode is shot in one shot from beginning to end. So there's no cuts, there's no merging, no switch scenes. It's all one. And so the camera continuously follows people and moves throughout. So that's how I got sucked in because I was like, that is fascinating. These hour-long episodes, one shot, no retakes, right? I mean, obviously they like filmed it multiple times, but like the actual footage in it is one shot. So amazing. And it is a story about it starts where this 13-year-old boy, and he's 13, is accused of murdering one of his classmates, a little girl. And it is the whole thing is a social commentary about how our society influences young boys into how they treat women and how they feel about themselves. And it is so insanely good. Like there's so much nuance to it, and I love shows that do this, but like it talks, I don't want to like spoil anything, but like it talks about things like the manosphere and the Andrew Tates of the world, and not just Andrew Tate, but like the other creators online who listen to that kind of content and then create their own content that's not really about that, but they have that underlying tone about how they think about women and how they think about men and how it should be in society, and then how it affects literally this 12-year-old boy and what ends up happening and how he's accused of murder. So like the way that they're like talking, because I've watched like a bunch of interviews with like the creators and the actors and stuff, they're talking about it how like, it's not a whodunit, it's a why done it. So one episode really investigates how the school systems impact kids or don't impact kids, or it's one episode is all about how home life impacts kids, one is all about how the internet impacts kids and their psyche, and it is so nuanced and so good. I really think it's going to win so many awards. I saw it had like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I can't stop thinking about it. Like my whole TikTok feed right now is just like people being like, did you pick up on this Easter egg or this small nuance? Like everything is so intentional and beautifully done, and I'm obsessed. So highly recommend. It's only 4 episodes.
Wow. Only 4?
Yeah.
Okay. What streaming platform?
Netflix. It's on Netflix.
Perfect. Okay. I was like, please let it be something I have. I only have Netflix and Hulu, and like I borrow everybody else's. So, okay, I'll check it out. I'm very intrigued.
It's literally a think piece, and you know, psychology background here. I just think it's such an important thing. Like I personally could not imagine raising kids in this world right now and the things that they're exposed to on the internet. And I think we're living in a very scary times. We have very different gender dynamics and expectations, especially in the US right now, though this show takes place in the UK. But it is, I mean, you were talking about with your speed dating and how you feel like you have to carry the conversation on our back. I actually really feel like we are in a different time right now where women have higher expectations for men, because we're not just going to be carrying the whole shit. You know what I mean? Men need to step up. And I think that on the other side of that, we have a lot of men in our society who think that life is built around women. And we're like, what? Like, it's just very interesting nuance going on right now. The show does a really good job of not making it sensationalized or over the top, but just like being really nuanced about how this affects kids. It was really good.
Wow. Okay. I'm here for it. Okay. I'm adding it to the list because I've been trying to get through all these other dramatic shows that really have no meaning. So I need to switch it up a little bit. So I'll add it to my watch list.
Yes. Let me know.
Of course. Of course. All right. So we're going to get into the tea for today. We're going to talk about personal growth and the pressure that we face to be perfect. So let's be real. There are so many invisible check boxes women are expected to tick off.
Totally. It's as if by your thesis, you're supposed to be wildly successful, but humble, in shape, but not trying too hard, dating or married, but not too dependent, working, but still somehow available to your family 24/7.
Yes. And don't forget, your home needs to look like a Pinterest board. Your skin should glow like you're a walking serum ad. Okay. And your morning should start with meditation, matcha, a 45-minute workout, and journaling, all before you start your 9 to 5.
Honestly, are we human? Are we a brand? It's literally giving the Barbie monologue.
Yes. And it's not just self-imposed, it's layered. Family, culture, society, even your algorithm is screaming at you to be everything, everywhere, all at once.
And it leads to this quiet pressure where you feel like you're always falling short. You could be doing well, but because you're not doing it perfectly, you just end up feeling like a failure.
And that's where the people pleasing kicks in. You don't even know what you want because you're too busy trying to be palatable, likable, impressive for everyone else.
And let's not ignore imposter syndrome. Even when you're killing it, you start to question whether you're actually qualified, or am I just pretending and faking it till I make it? A fun fact for those of you who don't know, my very first YouTube channel was actually called Lady Imposter because this was something I felt so strongly about, because we all feel this pressure. We as women, we're often in the state of not feeling good enough. And I was just thinking, no, can we please get real here.
Exactly. I agree with that. And I totally remember. And you're right. It is just exhausting to always feel that way. And men, they don't sit around obsessing about being perfect. You know, Ellen Pompeo said it best in that interview. Men don't worry about being perfect, so why should we?
Yes, I was obsessed with that clip. And I feel like men just go for it. They take up space, they get praised for effort. And meanwhile, we're sitting there rewriting emails 5 times, rereading it, checking every single exclamation point, making sure that we don't sound too aggressive when we exclude the exclamation points. And I actually say this a lot in my own life. If I'm ever feeling bad about myself or negative, or as if I'm not perfect, I literally will say out loud, would a man feel that way? And usually the answer is no. So I need to stop.
That is so valid. I've caught myself doing the email thing where I have like written an email and I'm like, wait, that's too many exclamation marks. I need to sound a little bit more professional. So I like go back and take out one and like change one of the words so I don't have filler words. It's ridiculous. It's so annoying. I'm like, why am I doing that? But I really do feel like we need to flip the narrative for ourselves and really focus on how we can stop trying to be perfect while still having a growth mindset. Because let's face it, it's often our drive and motivation to grow that can lead to these sort of pressures.
Yes. So let's flip it. What does it actually mean to grow on your own terms?
It starts with you, not your mom's expectations or what your friend group is doing, but getting radically clear on what you value.
Yes. This is where your ideal self comes in. Asking yourself, who is the woman I am becoming? What does she prioritize? How does she move throughout her day?
Yes. And I love to ask what would feel true to me, right? Not just good or productive, but true. That's how you build a vision that's aligned with your life, not someone else's blueprint. And we've talked about this in one of our recent episodes about aligning your life with your core values. We'll go ahead and link it in the show notes, but it's really all about that.
And you don't need to overhaul your life overnight. We always talk about baby steps or small wins on this podcast. Sometimes it's just about one brave, self-honoring decision a day. And maybe it's setting a boundary. Maybe it's choosing rest that day. Maybe it's just saying no to something.
Absolutely. And it's okay if your version of success looks different than the highlight reel on Instagram. You know, growth isn't linear. Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's messy, but it's yours.
Yes. And it's also okay if what you see in the highlight reel on Instagram is actually your dream life too. And this is where I think imposter syndrome can make someone feel like they aren't worthy of that life, if that truly is what they want. You are worthy of getting whatever you want, no matter what it looks like, whether it's what you're seeing or something completely different. And I think there's power in redefining success through your own lens and knowing that it's something that you are capable of and truly deserving of.
Absolutely. I could not agree more. And I think that's where it really comes down to the emotional part of success, right? So now we have to talk about something that's been a game changer for us both, which is giving yourself grace.
Yes, we are so quick to be forgiving and kind to our friends. And then when we mess up, I know I do this too, and we're not perfect, complete spiral. We just spiral.
Absolutely. And I've said this before, but we are our own worst critics, right? Think about it. If your friend came to you saying, you know, I feel behind, I'm not doing enough, I feel like I should have everything all figured out, you wouldn't shame her, you wouldn't blame her, you wouldn't give her a hard time about it. But I feel like for me, if I'm asking myself, I'm overly critical. I'm thinking about, oh, I should have done this better, But I would never do that to a friend.
100%. Instead, you'd be sitting there hyping her up. You'd be her best hype woman. You'd be saying, girl, like you're doing the best you can. You'd be complimenting her. You'd be talking about all the hard work that she puts in. And I think it's important to remember and question, why can't we extend that same softness to ourselves?
Absolutely. It's okay to not be perfect, to not be productive every second, to rest. I think that's such a big thing. It's like, it is okay to honor yourself where you're at and know that like sometimes you just need to take a step back and that's okay. And also remembering, you know, you can try something and realize it's not for you. I think I've gone through a lot of trial and error in my life as well. And that is where growth is. And that is growth.
Grace is essentially critical to holding your healing together and helping you accomplish the things that you really want to do. Without you, you're just beating yourself up for not being further along. And that defeats the whole purpose of having a growth mindset. It's not there to beat yourself up because you're not where you want to be. It's to help you get there along the way.
Yes. And I'll say it again. Men are not sitting around worried about whether they're doing life gracefully. They make a mistake, they shrug and move on. And we absolutely deserve to do the same.
Yes, I'm going to say that over and over again as my mantra.
I was going to say, I'm adding this. I'm going to make a graphic and put that on Instagram for us. Okay. So everybody reshare it. That's going to be our graphic.
Yes. Men are not doing this. Stop doing it to yourself. So I guess if you are listening to this and you've been hard on yourself lately, this is your reminder to just chill a little. Your 50% is likely 100% for a man. I'm just saying.
That's wild, but where are the lies? You know what I mean? Where are the lies?
Yes, but I mean, seriously, you're allowed to be growing, working towards something while still being proud of where you are right now in this moment. You're not a work in progress. You are whole, even if you have this growth mindset.
Yes, you're exactly right. So now, with that being said, we're gonna switch gears a little bit. We're gonna lighten it up. We're gonna play our favorite little game: overrated or underrated.
Yes, let's go.
All right, so y'all know the drill. I'm going to throw out a few things on theme, and we're both going to say if it's going to be overrated or underrated. So easy enough, right?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Morning routines with 12 steps. Jess, overrated or underrated?
Okay, I love a morning routine. 12 steps is insane. 12 steps is insane. What are you doing for 12 steps? Maybe it's because I think about it more in categories than steps. I'm like, I got to do the thing for me. I got to do the thing for my business. And then I got to do get myself ready for the day. It's like a category. I don't count every task I'm doing. That's overwhelming. 12 is insane. I've never seen a 12. I'm going to literally look up 12-step morning routines to assess these later because that seems insane. What about you?
I'm going to ask Chat. I'm going to be like, ChatGPT, what is a 12-step morning routine? I just want to see what she says because that actually is kind of wild to me. I find 12 steps is overrated. I don't think you need to be overly aggressive, but hey, if it is 12 steps or 15 steps for you, you do you. If that works, wonderful. For me personally, I don't do that. I do also have a morning routine. It's a little bit thrown off because your girl got laid off, but hey, we're okay. We're going to be all right. But I still am keeping up with my morning routine because it keeps me sane and I know I will continue to be productive. So that aspect of I think morning routines, yes, underrated. 12 steps, a little overrated.
It's giving, wait, did you see that clip that went super viral of that fake fitness influencer who was doing his morning routine, the Aston something?
Ooh, I don't think so. I feel like maybe yes, but maybe no.
It's gone so viral. So many people are talking about it. Basically, he created this morning routine video and it is insane. It's super misogynistic too. At one point you see a woman's hands serving him food, but you never see her face. It's very icky and everybody's dogging on it. And when I think 12-step morning routine, I think of that man. It's
ew, men always ruin things.
Literally, we need more steps and it makes you feel good.
Oh, it's so annoying. Okay, I'm gonna look it up just so I can be annoyed again. Great. Okay, moving on. Going no contact with toxic family. Overrated or underrated? I can take this one first. I think that's absolutely underrated. I have not experienced that. However, I know that others have, and you have to, for your own well-being, for your own sanity, you absolutely have to cut off family. It does not matter if they are family. You need to cut them off. It doesn't make sense to keep them around. I think about, things I've seen online with people cutting off their family members based off of who they voted for. If they voted for Trump and they were like, that absolutely does not align with me and who I stand for. I am your own child or I am your own, whoever I'm related to. And they still were like, well, that's what it is. Absolutely cut them off. Anybody who does not align with you and does not support you and want to see you grow, cut them. I've said it before. Cut them with the quickness. So absolutely underrated. What about you?
Agree completely. Super underrated for so many reasons. And especially going back to the theme of this episode, if you have a family member who's putting pressure on you to live a life that you don't want to be living, or is constantly talking down to you, or is constantly making you feel like you are not on the path that you believe that you should be on, cut them. If they're not good for your well-being, cut them. I think about the song Matilda by Harry Styles. If you're thinking about cutting off toxic family members, listen to that. You might bawl your eyes out. I know I did, but it's a very beautiful song and I think it covers it really well. It's no, not everyone's for you and not everyone deserves your energy. You deserve to shine, you deserve to glow, and you, like you said, you deserve to be around people who align with your values, and if other people are not for that, cut them.
Easy enough, right?
It's not easy. It's not easy, to be clear. Cutting off family is not easy.
No, I said easy enough, right? As in it's really not that easy.
Yeah, it is. It can be a very painful situation as someone who's done it themselves, but it is worth it. And
Yeah.
you grow and you heal from it and you're happier in the long run.
Next, the that girl aesthetic. Underrated or overrated?
I feel like it is very underrated. I love the that girl aesthetic. I've been leaning into it a lot lately. Feel like, so my definition of that girl is essentially your most confident self. You are living in line with your core values. You are feeling like you are that girl, right? Everybody should feel like they are that girl. It's like similar to like main character energy. It's not to be annoying main character. It's you feel like you are in charge of your life and living your best life. And I love that. I'm like, whatever that looks like for you, you are that girl. So go do it and make it happen. And I'm just obsessed with it. So I'm very into right now the that girl aesthetic.
For me, I think it's also underrated because I do love the vibe of that. It just reminds me of the Megan Thee Stallion quote because I love Megan and she is just like, what do you do to be that girl? And she explains everything that she does to be that girl. And every single woman should always feel like they are that girl. And I agree. I feel like it's an evolution of main character energy because we started with that. It was that was a trend, but I think now everyone is now leaning into that because how can you elevate yourself to be your most ideal self, the self that you would be proud of and the self that you want to become, the self essentially that you are. So completely underrated. I love it. I love the vibes. Next, saying no without explanation. This is my favorite. I love this. Underrated. I have said this all the time. No is a complete sentence. I don't have to say shit to you. If I don't want to do something, I'm just going to tell you no. I don't need to explain why. Go ahead. That's a strong boundary. You can just say no and it's okay. It is always okay to say no, especially if you need to take space, if you need time away, you need whatever you need. You can say no without explanation. And I think that is completely valid and completely okay. Jess, what about you?
1000% underrated. And I don't even think I need to explain why it's underrated. I feel like you said it. I will just say that if you are the kind of person who, when you hear no, you get mad, you ask a bunch of questions and like doubt their rationale for why they say no or questioning their rationale, you are the problem.
Always. Yeah. I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. Okay, last but certainly not least, romanticizing your healing era. Underrated or overrated? Underrated. I think it's a beautiful thing when, you've gone through all of these different, and we've talked about this, like turning pain into purpose, right? When you've gone through all of these different elements of your life and different areas, and you have just entered this healing moment of like, okay, I feel at peace. I'm now going to be leaning into, the next stage of my life, the next chapter. I think it's a beautiful thing to be able to just be at peace with where you're at and who you are. So absolutely underrated. What about you?
1000% agree. I love that you brought up the turning pain into purpose. It's so real. I think it's, if you're not going to romanticize your life, nobody else will. So
right.
Why wouldn't you? I feel like we are getting to a place where we're collectively realizing that it is better to be just a little bit delusional about the beauty in your life. It's more fun that way. It's more healing even doing that, in my opinion.
Positive delusion.
Yes, I actually just saw a clip of Michelle Obama doing an interview on a podcast. I don't know which podcast it was, but she was talking about how you have to fall in love with the mundane in your life. And I feel like that's what romanticizing is, just falling in love with the mundane, falling in love with the hard parts you've gone through to heal. So I'm major underrated, big fan of this.
I love it. I agree.
Amazing. Well, I feel like this is the kind of conversation we all need to have a little more often. So if you are still here, it's because you're committed to growing, and I think that says a lot.
And this is exactly why we do this podcast. Sometimes you just need to sit down with your friend, pour a cup of tea or beverage of choice, and vent about the world. Then remind each other that we're going to get through it.
Yes. So before we go, let's leave you with our last drop of tea, which is the one thing we want you to carry with you after this conversation.
Mine is this: you don't owe anyone perfection. You owe yourself peace. So choose the life that feels good on the inside, not just the one that looks good from the outside.
Yes. And I'll say this: your timeline is not broken. You're not behind, you're becoming, and becoming takes time.
If this episode spoke to you, do us a favor, share it with a friend who needs to hear it, tag us on socials, or leave a review. Again, leave a review. 5 stars. We love you guys. It helps more women find our little corner of the internet.
And it keeps this community growing because we are not meant to do this whole healing thing alone. We want to do it with you all.
Exactly. We'll see you next time, friends. Bye.